All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, I'm pretty sure that we've all been in the situation where we've had a sibling contact us on a Thursday or Friday and say, you know, I need you to do me a solid. You got to do me this favor. I need you to watch my kids for me this weekend while I go out of town. Me and my wife are going here or there, or me and my husband are going here or there, and we're not able to find anyone who's going to watch the kids. I need you to watch the kids for us while we're out of town. And you'll say, okay. And then you might go to the supermarket and purchase some things because the kids got to eat for the weekend. They come over, everything goes relatively smoothly, and they take their asses back home. Then you have that sibling that has the child that you don't want to see. And if you're going to take care of that child, there have to be some extra incentives thrown in there, because you ain't just going to watch that little badass child on GP. Nowhere in the world. Because they're going to come, they're going to try to tear up your damn house. They're going to jump on your sofa. They're going to do all type of silly shit. So you need something extra thrown in there so that you're okay babysitting one of Bebe's kids. That's how it's going to go. And that's the situation that we have here with the LA Lakers and Tyronn Lue. Everyone's talking about how the Lakers don't really want Tyronn Lue to be their coach, because they know that if they hire Tyronn Lue, it's going to look like LeBron James is controlling the organization, and that's a part of it. But another part of it is that the reason why Tyronn Lue wants more than a 3-year contract is because if he's going to throw himself back into the lion's den of taking care of, presiding over, babysitting LeBron James, you better make it financially worth his while. So anyway, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Hey everyone, SportsCenter right now. I'm Anthony Collins with news out of the NBA. Negotiations between the Lakers and Ty Lue have ended. Sources telling ESPN that Lue and his team turned down the Lakers' offer to make him the next head coach. According to our insider, Adrian Wojnarowski, the team offered a 3-year deal, but Lue wanted 5.
Of course he wants a 5-year deal because he needs health care. He needs to be making enough money to have open heart surgery after LeBron James drives him back to the brink of death like he did the last time he coached LeBron in Cleveland. That's why he needs them. That's why he needs them 5 years, man.
Yeah, I think the Lakers' thought was there's no marketplace for him right now. Nobody else is trying to hire him. He's not been a candidate for other jobs that have opened, although Cleveland's one of them. He just got fired from there. He's not going to go back there. But if a 4th year might have gotten this done, and now you're really scrambling.
Look at this shit right here. This is the owner of the LA Lakers. Some dizzy broad walking through the aisles with highlights, with wild, vivid color highlights blended into her hair, dyed into her hair. That's your owner right there. Toxic Femininity 101. That's why I did the video called Will Girl Power Ruin the LA Lakers?
Doesn't make sense, but they must think that they can still come up with a coach to set.
Daryl Morey is probably the only NBA general manager who will work with Rob Pelinka, because Daryl Morey is one of the few GMs who will put his personal feelings to the side to make sure that he's going to do what's best for his team. Daryl Morey is so analytical, he's not going to be concerned with any personal feelings whatsoever.
Satisfy all the people that got to satisfy in that.
For the way that people talk about him, this dude must have a lot of skeletons in his closet. Keep in mind, once again, he's one of Kobe Bryant's closest friends.
In that organization.
Well, it also reported that the Lakers management wanted to have a say in hiring Lue's assistant coaches. For more, let's get you back to First Take.
So, the Lakers still don't have a head coach. The mess gets messier. Ty Lue.
The Lakers already have their head coach. He's just too cowardly to declare himself the official player coach. That person is LeBron James. LeBron James just needs to declare himself the player coach of the LA Lakers and move forward. But he does not want to be the one who's going to face the quote-unquote shrapnels of criticism, as Stephen A. Smith would say. He does not want to be the recipient of all the vitriol that will come his way from the Laker fans and the front office if the team is not successful next year.
Lue and the Lakers are at an impasse. You just heard Max. I know it's your team, but are they just a laughing stock at this point?
Completely. The Lakers are approaching the New York Knicks when it comes to being a laughing stock. They really are.
Yes, they're a laughing stock right now. Of course they are. The reports that Ty Lue was... LeBron James is going to get his coach if you know what you're doing. Look, Magic didn't hire...
No, actually, if you knew what you were doing, you would not have brought LeBron James in unless you had the perfect team already prepared for him. So the Lakers have made a lot of strategic mistakes from ground zero.
Luke Walton, you knew that meant that Luke Walton had to be not just good, but great in order to keep his job. That's the way it worked.
No, sir. Luke Walton had to be neither good nor great. He had to be the person that LeBron James picked. Wherever LeBron James goes, he's going to destroy the head coach there, no matter how good the coach is.
Team comes in, they want their guy. But in addition to that, LeBron didn't want him there. And please, with LeBron's denials or his camp's denials, everyone knows. Everyone knows the coach LeBron did want. The guy that was brought in to replace David Blatt, that helped that coach them to the championship, did a really good job. Tyronn.
He did an okay job. Tyronn Lue did an okay job. What Tyronn Lue was the perfect person at the right time to assist LeBron James. LeBron needed him after he forced the firing of David Blatt. So LeBron had to make it work with Tyronn Lue. Neither one of them had an option. And that's when LeBron is at his best, when he's out of options and he can no longer play games, and when the people around him are not going to allow him to play games anymore. LeBron is a lot like a liberal female. He really is. You have to fence him in. If you don't fence him in, he's going to cause all types of chaos.
Tyronn Lue's going to be LeBron's coach on the Lakers. We all knew this. And Tyronn Lue knew it. So to bring him in, and there are reports that he's being dictated who to put on his staff and some of the names. Yes, Stephen A.
Would you like me?
Because the Lakers have to maintain this facade of control. Jeannie Buss has no idea what the fuck she's doing, and she's being pulled from many different directions. There's the Kobe Bryant faction, of which Rob Pelinka acts as the ambassador of Kobe Bryant's interests. You have the Phil Jackson faction, and he's represented, of course, by Kurt Rambis. So there are numerous people. Then you have the Magic Johnson faction. Magic Johnson deals directly with Jeannie Buss because Magic has no tact, and he's not someone who's nuanced in any way, shape, or form. He's way too emotional to have someone else represent him. So all these people are pulling at Jeannie Buss. And then, of course, you have the LeBron James faction, which is led by LeBron James and Rich Paul. We all know that blew up in their face last season when they tried to acquire Anthony Davis.
Like me to interject to give you the info
Please.
before you go on, to give you the dirt?
Go ahead. I mean, I have my own info, but I'd like to hear you report it.
3 years, $6 million.
$6 million a year, I would presume. Not $6 million in total.
Luke Walton had a 5-year deal. Derek Fisher had a 5-year deal. Steve Clifford had a 5-year deal. David Fisdale had a 5-year deal. So when you came to him with the 3-year deal, it was very insulting to him.
Of course it was insulting to him, but we also have to recognize that Luke Walton was the coach that Jeannie Buss wanted. He was placed in that position because he received the co-signature of Steve Kerr, Bob Myers, as well as Phil Jackson. Remember that Luke Walton comes from the school of Phil Jackson and Steve Kerr. So that's why he was placed in the position to be the Lakers head coach in the first place. Now he's out. They're going to bring in someone to try to appease LeBron James. And Jeannie Buss is very resentful of this because, remember, in her mind, she remembers players like Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who are all on the same level, the same scale as LeBron, and they were not as high maintenance as LeBron James is. And that's why she's very upset with LeBron right now.
That was one thing. The other thing was you tried to get him to pick his staff. You tried to mandate that Kurt Rambis would be his associate head coach.
It's very obvious that Kurt Rambis has some type of standing in the NBA world, at least in the Luciferian circles, as I deem it to be. Because everywhere he has the opportunity to do so, he tries to inject himself as the shadow head coach. And that's how you know that behind the curtain, behind the scenes, behind the door, lurks Phil Jackson, saying Kurt Rambis should be the assistant head coach. All that means is that he'll be whispering into the head coach's ear, telling him what he should be doing. That's how Kurt Rambis is going to represent the interests of Phil Jackson, who's an MK handler, by the way. We know that Phil Jackson cannot come from behind the curtain because he has a history with LeBron James.
He's boys with Brian Shaw. They go back a long ways. He was on Luke Walton's staff. Ty Lue would have wanted to retain him. They wouldn't allow him to do that.
Right. Now,
so
here's the thing.
all of those things.
Here's the thing. This is what I'm getting to. That even the names that were supposed to be the guys who had to be on Ty Lue's staff, those names are basically failed head coaches who, to one degree or another, who are there to try to take this guy's job. But beyond that, look, Stephen A., I don't mind. This is why they're a laughingstock, and you kept talking about this. Well,
let's be completely honest about this, Max Kellerman. The Lakers are a laughingstock because Jeannie Buss is a laughingstock. But it's going to take you guys far longer to come to that conclusion and have the courage to say that on national TV, because you don't want to be perceived as a quote-unquote misogynist.
Linda Rambis, Kurt Rambis' wife, is best friends with Jeannie Buss, and so Kurt Rambis has undue influence in the organization.
As does Linda Rambis.
Want to know the truth, Stephen A? That, to me, that doesn't make you a laughingstock. Doesn't make you a laughingstock if some former player is really having an influence on his former organization who won championships with.
Kurt Rambis was the same coach, quote-unquote coach or intermediary per se, who Phil Jackson wanted to act as the assistant head coach with the Knicks, back when Derek Fisher and Jeff Hornacek were the coaches there respectively.
What makes you a laughingstock is if that guy doesn't know what he's doing. That's the problem. Kurt Rambis was 99 games on...
To be honest with you, Kurt Rambis looks like Phil Jackson's son. That's what he looks like.
Games under 500 as a head coach. You know why? Because he's living in an NBA from 30 years ago that doesn't exist anymore. When he had Kristaps Porzingis, 7'3" and could shoot from the outside, but skinny and young, and maybe, you want to be careful in terms of injuries and fatigue and all those kind of things.
Well, Kristaps Porzingis is always going to be injury prone. He has a very frail body.
I want this guy to be posting up more. But he can shoot the three, coach. Have you noticed how this league works nowadays? No, I want him posting up more, where he was like the worst player in the league practically. Well, but he's tall. Kurt Rambis doesn't know what he's talking about in this NBA. I wouldn't compare my basketball knowledge to his, of course. But in this...
Yes, you would. You're just trying to play humble on TV.
This NBA, he clearly doesn't know what he's doing. So if that guy is advising you, he wants to put guys on Ty Lue's staff that also don't know what they're doing in the modern NBA.
Well, that's normally what people who don't know what they're doing do, which is advise that other people who don't know what they're doing become associated with the same franchise or organization that they're associated with. That's how that works. Like seeketh like.
It does, and are there to try to take Ty Lue's job? Stephen A., it doesn't make sense. If I'm Ty Lue right now, I'm like this. If the Lakers don't get Ty Lue, they're a complete laughingstock. He has him over a barrel. Say, what did Luke Walton get? I want more than that. And I'm going to...
This is certainly a narrative to watch, because if the Lakers are not able to hire a high-profile coach who would be of LeBron James's choosing or of his acceptance, I would be surprised if LeBron does not announce that he wants to be traded.
And I'm going to choose my own staff or see you later. That's going... By the way, if he does that, you think LeBron's not going to demand a trade?
Well, first of all, you're wrong. They're not a laughing stock, and you're living proof of it, because you look like you're ready to cry, and I've been crying. The Lakers are a disaster. The Lakers are a disaster right now, and they're a disaster because they're just dysfunctional. They've been dysfunctional for years.
Well, why is that, Stephen A. Smith? Why are they dysfunctional? It sounded like you were about to say something, and then you stopped yourself. Stephen A. Smith said they're a crying stock because of Jeannie Buss. Say the truth, man. Speak the truth. Like Will Smith said in Concussion, tell the truth. Tell it, bro. Right now, the Lakers are whack juice. They're garbage because their owner does not know what the fuck she's doing. She's more concerned with putting highlights in her hair than she is with actually running the team.
Years, and I don't think it's an accident that since their dad, Dr. Jerry Buss, departed from us, he passed away, and Dr. Jerry Buss, he passed away in 2013. They haven't made the playoffs since. I don't think that's an accident. Now, when we look at it, we have to understand the magnitude of what's going on here. You're in a town. The Clippers are coming. Let's be clear. The Clippers are coming.
The Clippers are coming. The Clippers won 6 games for the Golden State Warriors with KD. They won 48 games. They're pretty much already here. Once they add either KD or Kawhi, they're going to be championship contender status. And if they add both of those players, they're surely going to be the front runners for the championship.
You know this. And on top of it all, it's primarily because they have an owner with the deepest pockets in the league. Steve Ballmer's worth more than $30 billion. And so you know that, and your response to that from a competitive standpoint is to try and penny pinch. You know, you go offer Monty Williams a 3-year deal. You offer Ty Lue a 3-year deal. What could you possibly be thinking about?
What they're thinking about is, we're not going to hold over the LeBron James era after he's gone. We don't want anything left of the LeBron James tenure once he retires or once he chooses to leave the Lakers. Like, for example, in ancient Kemet, when certain regimes would take over from other regimes, what they would do is eradicate all markings, all carvings, all official records of that bloodline so that no one would ever remember them. That's what Jeannie Buss wants to do to LeBron James because she holds him in so much antipathy. She has so much rancor for him for how he tried to engineer the franchise that she knows that for now she has to tolerate him. But after a while, she's going to send him on his way. Do not be surprised if there's an increased amount of acrimony, visible acrimony, between Jeannie Buss and LeBron James this season.
Magic Johnson walks out on you and doesn't even give you a call to let you know he's doing so. LeBron James, if there's any truth to the scuttlebutt that he was in Philly trying to recruit Kawhi, and
LeBron James is desperate as hell. LeBron is more desperate than a 55-year-old prostitute. LeBron is at the game with Toronto playing against the 76ers, and he's standing up every time Kawhi Leonard looks in his direction. He's throwing up hand signs and finger gestures because he's trying to use sign language due to the fact that he's not quite sure if Kawhi Leonard can actually speak English. He's like, Kawhi, please come to the Lakers. Throwing up all type of dumb shit. Kawhi just giving him the middle finger, like, get out of here.
And that there's a chance that Kawhi was willing to come to the Lakers instead of the Clippers. Understand how profound that is. Because if Kawhi were to come to the Lakers, it's a double whammy because
Kawhi is not coming to the Lakers. Please stop.
Because you were worried about him going to the Clippers. You take all of these things into consideration, and your response is to lowball and alienate Ty Lue. Why? Because you're afraid you don't want this to be perceived as LeBron James' team like it was in Cleveland, like he's running the organization. Well, guess what? At this particular moment in time, he should. Because what?
They're never going to allow that, Stephen A. Smith. Jeannie Buss would rather give her life than hand over the keys to the LA Lakers to LeBron James. That would never happen because that's something that was never done for any other player. And that's how she's viewing it right now. And that's how Kobe Bryant is viewing it. Kobe Bryant's attitude as he speaks to her from the shadows behind the curtain is, look, the standards that I was held to, that Negro is going to be held to as well. I was never given the keys to this car, to this Corvette, to this Ferrari, whatever you want to call it. I went about it the old school way and I got the job done. This dude has to get the job done. The difference is that there's no Phil Jackson to save LeBron James's bacon like Phil Jackson was able to save Kobe Bryant's bacon well over a decade ago.
What's his competition? Linda Rambis? Kurt Rambis? Rob Pelinka? Why shouldn't LeBron be running the organization?
Because they're considered Laker family. LeBron James is not. LeBron James is not official Laker family until he wins a title. That's it.
If that's what your competition is, and so all of these things that have been ignored by the Los Angeles Lakers and Jeannie Buss, a very decent and nice person and obviously business savvy, obviously on the business side, but admittedly having very little to do with basketball, what could you possibly be thinking? And if
So
she's listening,
She's not thinking much, Stephen A. Smith. She has no idea who to hire.
to Phil Jackson, let's be very clear. First of all, that's Phil Jackson's an upgrade from Linda Rambis to Kurt Rambis or Rob Pelinka.
Are you sure about that? Stephen A. Smith, you spent the last 4 or 5 years totally roasting over a Spitfire, Phil Jackson. And now suddenly Phil Jackson is better than somebody? Okay.
But we all know what Phil Jackson was as an executive now. Don't get me started. I'm in a very good mood. Don't get me started with what he did to the Knicks.
He also couldn't come up. He also couldn't keep up with the changes in the NBA.
Come on.
I mean, you have to adapt.
It's bad. It's
if I
bad,
were LeBron
and
James,
worse.
you know what I would do, Stephen A?
I think Phil Jackson's mentality when he watches a team like Golden State is, we faced teams like that back in the 90s. We knew how to deal with them. That's Phil Jackson's attitude. When he watches Golden State, he says, they're no more of a potent three-point shooting team than Charles Barkley's Phoenix Suns, than Gary Payton's Seattle Supersonics, than Dennis Scott, Penny Hardaway, and Nick Anderson on the Orlando Magic. Now, we know that Golden State is a more proficient outside shooting team than any of those teams, but when Phil Jackson watches teams play basketball, he views them from a skill set paradigm, and also what is their team archetype? What do they like to do, and how will we stop them? So that's how Phil Jackson is viewing it. He's not in awe of Golden State. So that's why he just sticks to his guns when it comes to how he knows how to win basketball games.
I'd pick up the phone, I'd call Jeannie Buss. I'd be like, check this out. Hire Ty Lue, do it now, or I'm coming out publicly and demanding a trade. And if I were Ty Lue, I would tell them, I'm picking my own staff, Stop lowballing me.
Well, he already told
your
him that.
senses.
He already told him that.
Right, and now LeBron needs to back that up if he wants his coach. Like, what I don't understand is...
I'm sure that LeBron has. I'm pretty sure that he's let the Lakers know that he wants Ty Lue.
Why does LeBron care if the perception is that he's a coach killer or...
Because he always tries to control the narrative. LeBron wants to be the quote-unquote family guy, the nice guy, the good guy, the person that everybody likes. He's trying to mix the Michael Jordan athlete archetype with the Muhammad Ali athlete archetype. And he's failing in both. And that's normally what happens when you're split. He's trying to be multiple things as opposed to just being who he is, as opposed to just being himself. He's trying to act woke and socially conscious while also being a corporate dynamo. And it's not working. But he is concerned with how people perceive him. And he does not want to be known as what he is, which is a coach killer.
Or he's really calling the shots. He should be calling the shots. Maybe not in an organization like Miami with a strong head, like Pat Riley, championship coach and all that, and a strong culture. But in any other situation, LeBron should be calling the shots. He shouldn't be shy about it. He should call the owner and say, give me my coach.
Hold that thought, because it's something that I want you to think about here, man. If LeBron James, and let me be very, very clear, folks in his camp, folks close to Ty Lue, swear that his relationship with Ty Lue is great.
Allegedly.
He wants Ty Lue to be the coach, etc.
Well, he needs Ty Lue to be the coach. LeBron needs him to be the coach more than wants him to be the coach.
What you just suggested, because I suggested the same thing last night on SportsCenter. I'm telling you right now, you're absolutely right on the money. If LeBron doesn't suggest that, Max Kellerman, do we sit up here and have a legitimate right to ask whether or not LeBron James really wants Ty Lue? Because it ain't that hard to do what you suggested. It ain't.
That's interesting. That's why I don't think that LeBron likes Ty Lue. I think that he needs him right now. He needs someone that he already knows, and the Lakers already knows him. LeBron is not someone who's amenable to change, despite what he tries to act like. LeBron gets set in his ways when it comes to the coach and when it comes to the style of play. And he's not someone who's going to listen to a neophyte head coach, no matter how much expertise he shows.
It ain't that hard to pick up the phone now. It ain't that hard to tell Jeannie Buss, you know what, pay this man, give him his 5 years and let him pick a staff. And it ain't that hard for him to say, I didn't sign up for this. Magic was supposed to be here, etc.
I think that's a great
y'all
point.
ain't going to do this. What's going on?
Then watch this. Here's an easy remedy to what you just said. LeBron should pick up the phone and tell Jeannie, hire whichever coach LeBron wants, or I'm going to demand a trade. How's that?
Maybe that's what Jeannie Buss wants. Maybe Jeannie Buss wants him to do that. Who knows? Maybe that will be their way out of the situation where they can allow the young kids to grow. Maybe Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka are saying to themselves, look, we'll bring on Ty Lue, but it's going to be according to our prerequisites. He's going to have to either accept it or not accept it. And if LeBron gets mad, good, let him get mad. He can demand a trade. We'll trade him away for assets, bring on more young kids and draft picks, and just let this team grow. Because as of right now, unless we're able to sign another big free agent to pair alongside LeBron and make that mega trade for Anthony Davis, we're not going to win any championships. People are acting like the Lakers are so close, like they're right behind the Warriors. Even if the Lakers, let's say if the Lakers were able to trade for Bradley Beal and he comes and joins their squad, they're still not good enough to beat Golden State. They're not good enough to beat the Rockets. They're not going to be good enough to beat the Clippers if KD leaves and signs there. I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams that they're still not going to be good enough to beat. Denver will still be better than them. Yes, the Nuggets will be better than them. So there's going to be a lot of teams that they have to leapfrog. This notion that LeBron James is going to come back next season and have this gargantuan performance, play 80 games and average 31 points a game, 9 assists, 9 rebounds. I just don't see that. It's not going to happen.
Just make LeBron
happy. No, that's not what I'm asking you. That's not what I'm saying to you, Max.
He's saying if he doesn't do that,
what does that tell you about how much he wants Ty Lue?
Right, I'm saying if that's the case and he's not supporting Ty Lue like that, that may say that indeed. But then I would say choose the coach you want. And if he's not willing to do any of it, that means he's more concerned about the way he's perceived than getting what he needs.
Well, maybe he was just trying to do it the nice way and it hasn't happened.
About the Lakers.
Ding. Good job, Stephen A. Smith. You're finally getting there. At the very end, Stephen A. Smith said No, it's more likely that LeBron James is more concerned about Hollywood than anything concerning the LA Lakers. But anyway, peace.